You are listening to The Mindful Messes, where tamed chaos meets honest conversations. We are glad you're here. Let's begin.
All right, Sabika, let's jump right into it. Today we're going to be talking about a topic that everyone has got opinion about, but no one has actually cracked the code. Yes, that's right. We're going to be talking about parenting today. I think the moment you realize that you have got this under control, that you know what to do to get through this phase, another phase pops up with full intensity and you're back to stage zero. What are your thoughts on that, Sabika?
That's so true. Every day is a learning. So, a very complicated topic to navigate again, but very real because there are so many parents, and that's one phase of life. Most of the people, not all, if some people choose to, and some there are other reasons, but they are parents. So what we are sharing here today and discussing amongst ourselves is our experiences as well. And as you said very, very clearly at the start, it is one topic which everybody has opinion about. So true. So true. I acknowledge that everybody has opinion, but then nobody is a master, and nobody actually knows what they're doing. They're just doing things as they know, as they learn, as they read from certain books or certain courses they do. But then the biggest teacher is your child.
Exactly right.
So,
That's
yeah.
what I was going to say.
Yeah.
That you get a lot of advices, but what we forget before taking those advices is that the person who we get the lectures from is based on their experiences on a specific kind of a human being. But the human being that you're raising or I'm raising would be different.
Yeah.
So those rules might not be applicable
Yeah.
to your child.
Yeah. So true.
It is. I think it's not an easy journey being a parent.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. And there are no rules. There's no rule book. Nobody has cracked the code, as you already said. We have learned from our parents and how we were parented. So we were kids to our parents, and now we are doing the similar role, but in a very different way. So my phase of parenting now is I have a toddler, as you know. So they call them terrible two. That's what I'm experiencing. I've heard this term so much. And now I'm experiencing that. Another thing with me, which we will be talking about, is I'm a late parent. So what I mean by that, I'm a more mature in age parent. I'm not a parent in my 20s. I became a parent in my late 30s, very close to 40s. And now I'm in my 40s. So I have a terrible two. So how is it different from when you are a parent in your 20s or even younger? So that's what phase of parenting I'm in. And I'm parenting a toddler. And what about you, for audience to know? I know that, but what about you?
Well, I became a mom at the age of 26. At that time, I thought that, it was too early. But now at the age of 37, I'm like, okay, it wasn't that bad of a choice. And Ayan was actually with me for 3 years. He didn't go to childcare at a very early age, because I wasn't working and I was studying at home, but I wasn't working, so he was home with me. And looking back, I think that was good. I got to see a lot of beautiful stages, those small tiny changes in the child you're able to notice when your child is with you. You know what you're feeding them. You're able to play with them. You're not working, so you're not that tired. You have the energy to deal with a lot of things, so it's positive in that way. And and now he is in his preteen, which has challenges of its own. When our children are at the age at the age of Azel, we say that it's going to become easier when they grow up. but it becomes harder and trickier in a lot of other ways because
this is very interesting.
Actually. Exactly, it's a lot because they have their own opinions, they have their own brain. Although we were not that expressive in a lot of ways, but our kids are extremely expressive, and they want an explanation for every rule that you set for them, for every time you have been abrupt or assertive with them, so they want an explanation for everything. And and you're just sometimes pulling your hair saying that, my parents never had to do that.
Yeah, that's right.
So
that's right.
but you get to learn a lot as well. I think I've grown a lot with Ayan, I would say.
Yeah. So that's so true that we are not only raising kids in this generation, and millennial parenting is itself is a whole topic. So we're not only raising kids, but we are raising ourselves in this process as well. So we are the only generation on this planet who are coaching ourselves while we are coaching our kids as well. So we are taking care of the emotional regulation of two people at the same time. So my toddler has her tantrums, and as you said, which phase is easier. So not sure. It was very difficult when she was born with the nursing and waking up in the whole night, and then people said that, it will become easier when she'll start sleeping all through. Then you'll not have your sleep breaking in the night. So yes, that was gone. But then new things came. So which phase is easier? And then now you're talking about teens or pre-teens.
Yeah.
So is there any easy phase? I don't think so. That's what I've heard from my other friends as well.
Yeah.
So when she is just being a toddler and losing her calm and cool and just crying and whinging and cribbing for no reason, which I could find. If there's a reason, if she's hurt, or if there's an obvious something I could see she needs something but she doesn't get it, I understand there's a reason. But sometimes there's no reason at all, and she's just completely out of control. And then what do I do in that situation? So first I need to calm myself down, because as much as she's training me and I'm learning, I need to learn from other people. So I talk to other parents, other moms, my friends, you as well, because you have to have a sounding board, and friends are the best people. And then I talk to professionals as well. My very close friend is a child psychologist, so I talk to her almost every day to share things, and I read books. So I've read a few books on parenting, and there are a lot of books written on this subject, but still sometimes I just lose it. And then I feel bad, because I should not. I should be able to control my emotions, regulate myself, so that I can regulate her. So that's what is the theory behind it, that a parent needs to regulate their emotions. That's what kids see from their emotional regulation, how well you are able to regulate yourself, and that's what they learn and grow. And this is the foundation which I'm setting for her. So, but I think being aware of it is good. I'm still a human.
Exactly right.
And there are a lot of things going on as well. I'm not only a mother. I am doing a lot of things from the time I wake up and to the time I sleep, and a lot of other pressures of living, just general living. So which adds up to everything.
I hear you. I hear you. But what you said earlier, that that we should be able to regulate our emotions, I think you're expecting a bit too much from yourself, and you're being a bit hard on yourself, and we all are. So I was talking to I was talking to a friend, and she said something very interesting, that showing your healthy emotions, constantly showing your healthy emotions to your child itself is not good. Because your child needs to see the rise and fall, and you fall and then see you rise up. Even in that, the child is learning from you that, hey, my mom had a breakdown, but she snapped out of it.
So that's right. And then there's the concept of repairing as well.
Exactly.
So if I scream or shout, or I just lose my cool, or I also start showing temper. That's in that moment, but the next moment I feel bad about it. But then what do I do in the moment after? Do I say sorry to my child? I do, because then when I'm cooled down, I'm like, I should not have behaved that way. I'm sorry for what I've done. I'm really sorry. And this is and why this happened. So explaining also, though she's just 2.5, but
she's
they
a smart
understand.
Kid,
They understand.
They do.
Everybody understands. So it's even if they speak, they understand. If they don't speak, they understand. They understand in whatever way. So that's how the human thing is. So talking, explaining, and repairing is very important. Repairing is very important.
Exactly, because if we are in that, if we are showing a homeostatic and a perfectly balanced environment in the house, we are giving that picture of a world to the children, but the world is not perfect at
that's
all.
Not natural.
That's not natural at all. So it was so when you were saying that, it just came, we can't be in control of our emotions. We're not robots. We can't be controlling ourselves all the time. But coming back out of it is what means. And you thinking that, hey, I could have done this in a different way itself makes you a parent who wants the best for their child. So
that's right. Kids need parents who are continuously working on themselves.
Exactly.
Not perfect parents. They just want parents who are working on themselves and who realize that.
Exactly right. That's it. Because like recently I learned something from Ayan, was trying to give space. And I think as a parent, because you're so protective about your child, that sometimes it becomes hard to give them that space to process their emotions, because you want their pain, their sadness to go away instantly. But that's not possible. I'm going to share an event very quickly that I think he had a bad day, and I could tell, and I kept on asking him what the problem is, and he was like, I don't want to talk about it. I want to process it. And, it was very mature of him to say that I want to process it. But because I was worried and there were so many questions going on in my mind that I kept pushing him. And in the end, he just broke and he cried. He's like, why can't you give me my space? I'm trying to process this. I need my time. Can you respect that? And that was an eye-opener for me. I could have, and one thing was that I didn't get offended at that moment, because I was also thinking that I'm doing this, I'm pushing him for myself, for to soothe my worries, whatever worries I have in my mind. And I was like, okay, I just left him, and after 10-15 minutes he just came and told me the whole story. So you have these moments, and I think they teach you that and from that I learned that yes, sometimes, most of the times, we behave in a way we are behaving towards others just to soothe something within us. So
and as a parent, your role at that time, which you felt your role was fixing. So I want to just fix this, fix whatever has happened to my child, and that's what is my duty as a parent. So but sometimes that's so true. It's a very good learning that they need space as well to process themselves what has happened, and then what do they want to do next. And then when they come back to you, they're coming to share, and then asking for advice, and then you can step into advice.
Right. I don't think we were ever we haven't had that that childhood of being able to process, and I think that's why there's always a self-doubt within us, because we haven't made choices very earlier in our life. But then again, as we were talking, that kids nowadays, they have too many choices, which is also not
that's right. That's what is the problem and the worry. So that's what I'm working on as well with Azel. Okay, because toddlers, I think they start to learn what choices are, and then they want to do things independently. They're very I want to do this my way. I want to do that. I want to open this bottle, or I want to feed myself, or which is all very good and very healthy. But then sometimes it doesn't work because I want to wear that shirt,
Yes.
but she has to go to ELC where they have a uniform, so she can't, and I don't have time in the morning to negotiate on that okay, you have to wear this uniform because you have to go to ELC.
Well,
And that's
I'm
so you
sorry,
have to wear
Sabika,
these
that's
shoes.
very sad that such a small child has to wear uniform. This is not acceptable. I'm with Azel on this. This is really sad.
So there is, her teacher has given us an option when I discussed that with her. So she said that, oh, if this happens and if this is a big problem in the morning and disturbing your morning routine, then just keep the uniform in the bag and we will make her wear here.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's a good thing. Yeah, fine. But then that is just one example. But then how much liberty am I giving her in the choices she can choose? So there's something which, yes, okay, I can give you can choose this thing to wear. But then there are certain things which are non-negotiable. So like brushing in the morning, I'm struggling with that. Whoever out there, if you have any tips, please. I've asked my friends and nobody has actually helped me on that. And everybody says that we didn't struggle with this, but I'm really struggling with the brushing of teeth. She's 2.5.
All your friends tell you that they have not had a hard time getting their
brush.
I have a 12 years old and I have to tell him 1,000,000 times to brush his teeth. Okay, so you're not alone there, and I don't know what kind of kids these are, but good on them.
That's what I've heard, that they didn't have any problem brushing. So, and I'm not only talking about I don't want to brush. It's like crying, screaming, closing the mouth, not opening the mouth, not letting me, holding my hand. So it's like a full drama for brushing. But this is non-negotiable. So I can't just allow her, okay, fine, Azel, that's okay. You don't want to brush your teeth? Okay, that's fine. We'll do it tomorrow. So I can't. I have to go through that every single day, however hard it is. So I don't want to sit on the pot. So I'm trying the potty training. Some people say it's too early, but some people say it's late. So what is the age? Because some people train their kids at 3 years plus, but I know people whose child is trained at 18 months. So as per the books, it is the whole range, and that's correct. So kids can be trained at 18 months till 5 years.
Yeah.
So big range. So, but then, because she has picked up on a lot of things herself very early. So I had set up an expectation from her as well. So that's also as expectation as a parent. Is that right? Because then that's putting a pressure on her that I expect that. But then I'm just learning on the choices as well, that what is negotiable and what is non-negotiable, and then giving only 2 choices. Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't want to wear a shoes, okay, fine. Wear the shoes now and walk with me to the car, or do you want to wear it in the car? Ultimately, you have to wear the shoes.
Yeah, I understand that. But I don't know, like kids do realize that, because when Ayan was in primary school, they didn't have the only strict uniform they had was wearing their shirt and the dress pants, and they could wear any other kind of shoes. So there was no strict rules on that. But now in high school, they have rules even on shoes. And Ayan has picked it up. He actually knew it, and he made sure that he had those formal shoes for school. And I think they just pick up in the right time as well. It's I don't know if we put too much pressure on the kids, because we have that subconscious comparison with other kids as well. We try not to, but I think somewhere it's probably there.
Yeah.
That fear that, what if my child doesn't get this?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But that's right, because I'm in the very early stages. So rules or no rules, I've heard everything, and I have experienced with my other friends as well, the society you live in, you'd see other kids, definitely. That's where the whole comparison stuff comes from. The other friends' kids. And because I'm a late parent, I'm a late 30s parent, so I've seen a lot of kids and a lot of parents. So, and how they're raising, and then everybody has an opinion. So of course I also have an opinion that, okay, this is right, this is not right, whatever, even without having a child at that time. And now when I have a child, so I'm like, okay, I want to raise my child in this way. But I think that's what it is. What feels right for you and your family circumstances as well is right. And if the child is safe, if they feel safe, if they want to come back home from wherever they go, if it's childcare or if it's ELC, if it's school, primaries, high, if they want to come back home and discuss things and share things with you, then yes, you're doing something right. That's the whole point of it. But rules, I think for me is important as an individual. Not sure what's right, what's wrong, but I feel it's like it should be like a sandbox. I've read this somewhere. It's very beautiful analogy. A rule should be like a sandbox. So the boundaries of it is wooden, so that and in the box it's all sand. So within the box it's the free play. Your sand can go anywhere in any shape, do whatever. But then if there are no wooden boundary, then the sand will just disappear. It will go anywhere without any purpose or anything. So that was something which really stuck with me. So and then it just a balance, like how strict you want to be. So we had a lot of rules. I had a lot of rules when I was growing up. Don't do this and don't do that and don't do and do this and do this in this way. So how much you have to follow it now with this generation as well, and how much you just want to leave. And as you said that your preteens and with your son also, they ask so many questions. You can't just tell them, okay, don't do this. They will not listen. Why? So my 2.5-year-old have started asking why for everything. Why mama, why?
Exactly.
I have to reason her, and the whole day I'm just reasoning with her. Okay, why
this is just the beginning, Sabika. Trust me. This is just the beginning. Yeah, exactly. But just tell me, like, now that you are an adult, right? What is it that you remember from your childhood that you're still following?
That I'm still following.
Yeah, because is it the don't do this, don't do that, or is it something that had been a product of your environment that you're following at the moment?
Being a good person, not harming anyone, not doing things which are not acceptable to the society. I think that's the value system. Which I think that's what I have grown up in, and then I follow that. But in terms of rules,
exactly.
I don't remember. Education, yes, that was a rule. Go to school is a rule. So that's what have made us. If we were not educated, then nothing.
Exactly.
We would not be sitting here.
So that's what I was. It just came into my head, and I was like, oh my god, I don't think I'm not doing anything significant to be as an example for my child. But I was just thinking the same thing, that I don't think any of us would remember the don't do's. Don't do this, don't do that, wake up at this time, wake up at that time. It's basically the environment that we remember
that's right.
at home. And for me, when I saw my mother, I've always seen her working hard, always waking up every day with a new energy to deal things with probably a little different way than yesterday. And that's what I try to do. Try to keep on doing things and having hobbies and things. That's what I remember from my childhood. And basically, you're a product of your environment. Is what I would say. And I think Hazel sees two very productive parents, and I'm pretty sure she's going to turn out like that. So
but on that productivity as well, so I've also seen my mom struggling, but struggling plus a very fulfilling career as well. So she was educated. She was a 6 years university topper in Hyderabad in Central Institute of English and Foreign Languages, which is a very known institute in India in Hyderabad. It's internationally known. So 6 years she topped in French language, which she specialized in. And then she became the French professor, got married, came to Gwalior, and then she was continuing her teaching career there. But then when kids happen, life happens. So that's the hustle thing as well, which she was doing. So yes, she wanted to maintain her career. Yes, she could not have been just sitting and not doing anything. But then she was struggling to make ends meet as well, because just with my dad's government job, we would not have been able to study in expensive Carmel convent schools. And then my brother came after 10 years of when I was born. So me and then my brother, who's my sister, 2 years apart, and then my brother, me and him are 10 years apart. My sister and him are 8 years apart. So he studied in the most expensive school of Gwalior at that time. So all the top schools, and that's what my mom's thing was, that okay, we need to study in top schools and give good school education, but then you need money for everything. So she did that struggle thing to make it work. Otherwise, if it would have been just my dad's choice, and like, okay, just go to any government school, fine,
same.
everybody is studying there.
Yeah,
So
same. Yeah.
but then would my life have been the same as it is now? No. Would it have been better or worse? We don't know. So something which we don't know, we don't know. So then that way. So I went to creche at that time. So there were no childcare concept, but it was creche, home creche, because mama was working. So I went to creche, and my sister went to creche. And then after that, we had an old lady who used to come home. So even though we say that this generation has no support from their parents, but if it's a very unique situation where my mom also did not have support from anyone.
Yeah.
She did it all on her own at that time. So I saw that struggle while growing up, while maintaining your career, but also hustling. And now when Azel is here, so we do the similar thing. So when you say that, yeah, both of us are productive and we do things, but then you can't do everything.
No.
So you have to give away on something or trade off on something. So I chose to not leave my career and not take a very long break. They say, they as in the people who are against the sending kids to childcare, and there is a whole school of thought, a whole big group of people who believe in not sending kids to at least till the year of 3 to childcare. They don't, so they sacrifice their career, and it's always, or 99% is mums who just don't do anything or choose to step down if they are working, or just so that their kids are at home. But I send my kid to childcare, which if only both of us mutually decided till 1 year we will manage somehow. So I took 6 months of maternity leave, and then here in Australia, fathers get that as well. So John took 4 months plus on top of that some unpaid time, and then she was at home. After that, after 1 year, she went to daycare. Then she used to get sick, and then John took some more time off. So she had some more time. But then after that, after 1.5 years of her life, she is quite consistent with daycare and childcare. And now she's in ELC at 2.5. But at her age, some kids have not even ever gone out of the house. They are with the mother, which research says that that's the most they need. They need mother's touch. They need like body to body touch with their mother. They need mother at 1 arm's distance all the time, 24 hours. But what's right, what's wrong, and how do you differentiate between a kid seeing parents struggle or productive or achieving something versus a parent not being there for most part of the day
Yeah.
and then meeting in the just for the evening and then weekends.
Yeah. I hear where you're coming from. I'm actually probably a part of those people who think not, who are in favor of not sending kids to childcare. I didn't send Ayan to childcare until he was almost like 2.5, 3. So at 3, I think he became consistent going to ELC, that to just 3 days. But and I was studying at that time, but I still have a career, so I don't think that the few years of it depends on the kind of career one has as well, but I don't think that those few years can take you way back. You still have the time to come back to career. You don't have to completely give it up, because
that's right.
after 3 to 4 years, kids, they grow really fast
And independently
and
as well.
independently
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So I think that that time is good to be with the kids. You are you are devoid of a lot of worries, and you're able to enjoy that time of being a parent. Looking back, I think that was the time that I enjoyed most.
That doesn't
when I
come
was
back.
It doesn't come exactly. It doesn't come back, and it was a good time, I think, whatever that phase was. And I think human beings are very accommodating. It is when I think about it, it wasn't easy studying with the child of that age, but somehow you accommodate, and kids can accommodate as well, their schedule.
Yeah.
But then every child is different as well.
Yeah,
So there's you
that's
can't
right.
crack the code.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
the same thing. But
that's
I
right.
do believe, I do think that the sending kids this early to childcare is something I wouldn't want a child for. A child, I wouldn't want that for a child.
But then it's whole thing of quality time and quantity time
Exactly.
as well.
Yes.
So whatever time you have in hand, how are you
Absolutely.
how are you spending that?
Yes.
And even with childcare, there's a whole thing of where you send. So how safe your environment is, and how involved you are in the place where you're sending your child. That's also very important. It's not that you're just sending the child because you want to get rid of your responsibility and you're outsourcing that, but what's the motive behind? And if the child is really struggling, if they can't cope up, if they have separation anxiety, many kids have that, if they just don't like going to that place, then I think that's the time when parents need to think that can one of us, and it should not be a female always.
Yes,
that's one thing.
And John has done a great job setting that example. I admire him a lot for that, and it was commendable.
So I didn't get that. I didn't have the privilege.
He's a hands-on dad, I have to say. He is a hands-on dad. Sometimes annoying, but he's a hands-on dad. So
very, very, very lucky, very fortunate, very grateful for that, actually, because I've not seen that growing up. So
I haven't seen that either.
I didn't have a hands-on dad at all. I remember he used to come back from his social gatherings and everything very late in the night, and the next day was our exam, and then mama is teaching us and spending that time with us after her classes, so after her university, then she's sitting and teaching us, and then he just comes and says, have you guys prepared for tomorrow?
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
Yes. No.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
So that's some memories which you collect over time. So.
I think something that I would like to take from here, from this conversation that we are having, is to give up or to somehow try to let go of how we were brought up or how others are bringing up their kids and focus on the kind of child we have, probably that would be that would give us more meaningful outcomes, as opposed to experimenting on how others have raised their kids.
Correct, that's
this
right.
is something I would really want to take from here. I was just I was just thinking about it when you were sharing the story about how so many people give us advices on what to do and what not to do, and how we always visit our childhood back all the time, and we don't want to make the mistakes that we think our parents have made. I think detachment is what I would like to practice and take from here, because that's when you can focus on what's on hand at the moment, what's the kind of person you're dealing with at the moment. Because if you don't, then you have already set standards of this is how I should be behaving, this is how my child should be behaving, and unfortunately that's not how it works for human beings.
Unlearning.
Exactly.
That's a very good point, actually. So start afresh. Not with how you were raised, or not how your friends are raising their kids.
Exactly. So I would really like you to remind me in my moment of frenzy.
So learning how your kid is, and what they need and what they want and what's best for them, and that's how you provide them. That's how we say that it's everyday learning. So for me, it's Hazel is a very social person. Now, where she gets that from,
Yes, don't complain. Don't.
I think she's very social. She thrives with people. She loves to be out there. She's quite confident to be so young. Like touch wood. That's the God's grace. That's how she is.
Bossy as well.
She
keeps bossing Ghani.
Yes, she's bossy. Yes. So she thrives in a place where there's a lot of learning and games and structured learning, where there are other people, other kids, and they're playing together. So she loves that. So it's good for her. But if a child is more quieter and doesn't work with a lot of stimulation, and stimulation is bad for them, then they need to be in a more quieter environment at home with the parents. So
I think social interactions is important. This is what we are actually trying to work on as well for kids, because they do have friends at school, but they don't get to meet them all the time. So I was having this conversation with my husband the other day that I think we need to meet more of our friends, who've got kids, and which is important. And you've seen Ayan when Hazel comes over. They both play, although there's such a huge age gap between them. But they're just having the time of their life. And now that Ghani is there, that adds into all the lovely chaos. I think
Ghani, for the audience, that's your very recently added family member, your dog. So cute.
So I think it gives a feeling of community and acceptance, and that social interaction is, I think, very important.
It's very important for kids to thrive. That's right. And for us as well, like, because we had our own friends before Hazel for so many years, and then so their kids, our very close friends, their kids have grown up, and or some people do not have kids. Some other friends, they do not have kids, and then some of the friends have kids of Hazel's age. So, but we try to then make plans or specifically organize time where we can meet those friends whose kids are similar age group to Hazel as well. So
although it doesn't matter to Hazel.
It doesn't. That's so true.
It doesn't matter to Hazel.
She just loves all our friends' kids, actually, and they're who she meets more on the weekends. And so age thing doesn't matter. I think it's we think as well that she should be meeting similar age group
Yeah. Yeah.
kids. So
Because she shares the same vibe with Ayan as
yeah.
well. She,
So I don't know how that will change or not change when she grows up and she has her own friends, because
Yeah.
now there's no concept of friendship. So she don't have any friends from where she goes, ELC or childcare. So we don't meet with them. But then that will be changing when maybe she's 5 years. So then
Yeah.
we need to invite her friends over, or have them invited in birthday parties and all those
Yeah,
things.
yes,
So we don't
yeah.
know how then that will again change our friendships, because then we have to hang out with their parents.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, it changes a lot when you are a parent, and we have experienced that more because we have not been a parent for a long time. So we had our own things and an own way, our own style of living as
Yeah.
well. And then
Yeah.
suddenly a kid comes
Exactly.
and disrupts that and disrupts our social environment
Yeah,
as well,
exactly, yeah.
choice of friends as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
and
let me
that-
tell you that our friendship is not going to be affected because Azel is not going to be wanting you around when she's with her friends. She's not going to be wanting you around their parents either. And those kids will not be wanting their parents around either as well.
yeah, that's so true. That's so true.
So yeah, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. But this conversation reminds me that it's a good thing for the audience who's listening out there. It's such an interesting topic, and what we are talking and sharing our own experiences, not being any experts in parenting, and we only have one child each as
Yes.
well. So people have multiple kids.
I don't know how
There's
they do
another thing with siblings.
Yeah.
And we have been like, I'm 3 siblings, you are 3 siblings.
Yes, yeah.
So there's a whole big game of how parents manage with multiple kids, and then their careers and life and economic asks and all those things. So but then it's one thing which is coming to my mind is, if the audience want to share that, how how do you feel as a, should you be, is it good to be an early parent in terms of patience? That's the one major thing you need to be a parent. Early parent or a later parent. And then there are a lot of reasons for being a later parent. It can be a choice. I just don't want to be, I'm settling down, I have other priorities, and then I just delay things. And then it's nature playing its role as well. Even if when you are ready, then nature has other plans, which
Yes.
is
Yeah.
what happened with us as well. And that's another story to be. But then of course we know that it's not easy to become a parent as well. There's lot of things happen before you can be a parent. And some people can't be, and then some people choose not to be, which is all right. But this is very interesting, which I really want to know. Is it good to be an early parent, a young parent, or is it good to be an older, comparatively, or more mature parent? So yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's another question that I would like to ask the audience is what are the rules you've grown up with? So what is that one rule that you've grown up with and you have kept that? And what is the one rule that you've just thrown away and you just thought it wasn't worth following? That's something I would like to know from the audience.
Yeah, very
Oh,
interesting.
yeah,
I think all the parents listening must have definitely have had rules
Yeah, of
at that
course.
time.
Yeah.
So free play was not a concept at all. It's a very new concept now,
Yeah.
free play, which is misunderstood as well, in my opinion, what free play is. But yeah, at that time, there was no free play. I think it was
No.
just, do
Yeah.
it my way. Why? Because I'm saying it. That's it. No more questions. I'm saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we'll wrap up with a few sharings. I just thought that we can share some things on what your opinion is as a preteen mum and my opinion as a toddler mum. So one thing you are struggling with.
I am struggling with my
Yeah.
child. I think it's a patience and again the detachment bit detaching myself from my own worries and actually understanding where I am, or where my child is coming from. So because we all have been those kids at that age. We have been those kids. I was telling this to my friend. I was telling him, it's like, well, my mom tells me that I was not a good teenager, and he's like, tell me one parent who would say that their teenager was a good teenager. Good teenagers, they do not exist. I was like, and that's actually right. So I think I'm struggling with, I would say, detachment. Exactly the lesson that I want to take from here is the detachment, that worry of emptiness, the worry of the distances that we are experiencing already. So yeah.
Okay.
That's something that I'm struggling with at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine is anger. Very easy. Anger management. So I've spoken to some professionals as well on that. That do I need anger management session? Do I really need that? And then while talking to me, they suggested that no, you don't need anger management session. Is what you just need is giving yourself some time as well, and then just knowing your triggers and what you do about them, and then how is it safe to leave the kid in that situation than to get angry on them, because anger is first it spoils the relationship if you do something in anger, any relationship, and then it harms yourself. So it harms me because I'm boiling inside. So so that's my struggle.
True. That's very true, because when you're angry, I've learned it the hard way. It's not something that I was taught, or I don't think any parent is taught.
Right.
And it's not possible either. Because when you're angry or you're upset, your children, they're always absorbing those emotions, and they're always noticing them. So even if I'm angry with Ayan, for instance, and I say something angrily, I don't think the only thing he picks is that, okay, this woman has gone crazy, she's angry, and I need to stay away from her. So this is the only thing he's getting from that.
So
but
true.
Again, we can't really be perfect all the time.
So, we are all work in progress.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
What's one thing which you have softened over time? And I can't answer that because I'm in very early stages, I think, of parenting. So what have you softened from 13 years?
I've become a bit more forgiving and a little flexible. And I noticed that Ayan's a very sensitive child, and sometimes if I share some bits and pieces with him, he actually would give me if I'm upset, let's say, for example, I'm upset with a friend, and I tell him, and he would just say that, oh, it's just a friend. There's nothing wrong in you saying sorry or you taking initiative and things like that. And I think, so it's patience and being forgiving is something that I have.
Okay.
And
softened over
softened
time.
a little bit. I think that's age also plays a role in it. But I think kids, they do make you a little bit more patient and a little bit more enduring than you would be. It's not,
they are teaching us.
Exactly. It's not it's not my way or the highway. It's not possible. Yeah.
And then one thing you hope your child remembers about you as a parent.
Me and Ayan, we have this tradition every night before going to bed. We talk to each other about anything. And that time is not about any mistake, not about correcting him. It's just about how his day was, what he's thinking, and, all random things. And that's the best time of my day, at least. And that's something that I want him to remember, because he did mention the other day that it's our tradition. So if it doesn't happen, he kind of misses it, and he comes to me and he's like, we're not having that chat. And so that is something I would really want him to remember, that connection that
You've
again,
touched on such a good point.
Yeah.
Tradition and ritual. It's
Exactly,
actually
yeah.
very important.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people listening out there would be able to relate who do that.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, though we are not preaching, it's just a piece of advice, because this is what I have heard from my other friends, and I've read as well, and I also follow. So there should be some ritual which you do with your kid, which is very consistent. So like reading. Bedtime, the bedtime
Yeah.
routine. It's a ritual. So
Yeah. Yeah.
tradition. So
Yeah.
it doesn't. So rituals and traditions not necessarily have to be religious
Or cultural.
because depending on where you come from,
Yeah.
what your family structure is, but it has to be something which you do consistently over time.
Exactly.
And that's what your kid will remember. Yeah,
Yes.
that's a beautiful
Yeah.
thought, actually.
But this is not when we are, so we're not always able to implement a lot of things that we want to when we are in a relationship is something I would say. But this is something that I some things that are in your own hand you can, and this is something that I've implemented to build that connection. Again, like you said, it's the quantity time, the quantity and the quality time thing, and I think that is something really nice. And other thing that I tell Anne, because he walks to school now and he comes back, and he the first 2 weeks he would call me when he would reach home, and then after 2 weeks there was a day that he didn't call me, he didn't message me, and then I was like, you, whenever you reach home, if you want to call me, you have to send me a message. So then now he sends me a text message, arrived. So that is a kind of a ritual as well. And so, and when I was coming here, he actually asked me that, how long is it going to take for you to come back? So all these things are very I think that started from that one tradition that I started, checking in on each other, and things like that.
Yeah,
So,
there was other thoughts which were coming to my mind when you were talking that, and that's and we can take that up in a separate, different episode as well. Technology.
Yes,
so
yes,
you were expecting him to message him, but there are parents who use technology to track their kids. You don't have to. Kids don't have to tell where they are. The parents are actually on a application, on an app which has navigation and which tells kids location, so where they are, and then they're tracking them all the time. So pros and cons, we can have a very long discussion on that. And then,
but it's important for safety purposes, I guess. It depends on the intention that you have, right? My mom used to say, and she would do it, but she never told us until we grew older, is that giving that deception to the child that, hey, I trust you, but inside you're like, no, I don't trust you at all. So it depends on the intention of why you have those tracking. I haven't reached that stage yet. Our kids are very young.
Yeah.
But it totally it depends. And I think as I came across this is that level of independence, and when you tell your child that you trust them, that kind of brings in a feeling of responsibility, rather than you telling them that, oh, you're doing this because there's a big brother watching you all the time.
Right. Yeah.
So
it might be different with girls versus boys as well.
It
I
shouldn't
still have
be,
to experience
Sabika.
it.
It shouldn't
because I have a
be.
girl. So.
No, don't say. Oh, come on now. We better end this episode before we start pulling each other's hair now.
But I want Azel to remember me on that question. I just want her to remember me as a loving mom. So when she thinks of me, whenever that is, even if after I'm gone, because then nobody knows what's going to happen in future, or if I'm here, or if we are not living together, she's somewhere else studying, working, whatever. She always, when she thinks of me, the first thing should come to her heart and mind is love. So the first thought of feeling should be just love. So I think that's what I think I want.
Love and safety.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you,
Extremely
everyone.
good discussion.
Yes.
Loved it.
Yes.
Loved sharing and loved sharing a lot of parts, being vulnerable as well. This is really, really coming along well. So I hope you guys are enjoying it as well as much as we are enjoying sharing.
Yes.
We have so much stories and
Yeah.
wisdom to share with you all, and we really need some support also, because this is just a community which we want to grow. So
Yeah.
keep on listening and
Yes.
keep on answering to our questions.
Yes.
That builds that momentum.
Yes,
and community.
and just we would love to have any one of you, for one of our talking session, I guess.
Yes. We
And,
love to hear
yeah.
everybody's experiences
Yeah,
as well. Everybody
share
comes
your
from
journey, your
yeah.
stories. Yeah, let's build a community together.
Yeah.
We will catch you next time. Thank you.
This is us, Uruj and Sabika, signing off.
If any of these thoughts lingered with you after listening, don't let them sit alone. Follow us, reach out, and help us grow a community shaped by curiosity, honesty, and shared reflection. Until next time, be kind and gentle to yourself and others around you.